You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Podcast Network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com.
Jeremiah Morrell here, joined by executive video producer, audio engineer, and parking lot president, HOA president of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Mr. Zach Burcham.
Don't label me like that. I didn't say anything to anybody with any importance. You have to listen to Patreon to know what this is about.
That's right. Forrest Plank is here on a beautiful Monday night in Newcastle, Indiana.
Good evening.
We're going to talk to Mike McKown for our annual race night edition. Welcome back, Mike.
Thank you very much for having me.
Get the old timers input from over here.
That's right. He's got the right hat on. And I just realized once again, I didn't put on my damn racing shirt for the night. Oh, well, we'll be in Boss Hog merch. It's fine. Ean Southerland is here. We just recorded your Playbook podcast, and you've hung around for the after party with Boss Hog. Glad you're here.
Thank you for having me.
And how many ARCA starts do we have?
9, I believe.
9-time ARCA starter so far. Presley
Let's not
Sorah.
talk about ARCA finishes. Let's stick with the starts. I like starts better.
Yeah, starters. When we tune into Fox and they show the credentials of Townsend Bell and James Hinchcliffe, do you notice what they put on the screen?
Starts.
James Hinchcliffe, 6 IndyCar wins. Townsend Bell, 10 Indy 500 starts.
Yeah.
That's what they show.
Yep.
They don't
Carries a lot of weight.
They don't say how it goes. You are a 9-time starter in a NASCAR touring series, dude.
We'll take it.
Like, Jesus Christ, okay?
We'll take it where we can get
that's
it.
way better than the rest of us can say for our racing careers. This show, we're going to talk about the Indy 500. It means a lot to everybody in the room. Some are old-time fans, some are brand new fans, but that's what the focus of tonight is. We dedicate one show a year to that, and I cannot believe it, but damn it, it's already race week.
It is.
So
It's hard to believe.
it's May 18th, and it's already race week. Shows about our lives in rural Indiana, where you push your boundaries and make you think as individuals. Sometimes we'll provoke you. Other times we'll make you laugh, but hopefully you'll always learn something new. We just did a nice 20 minutes of Patreon talking about the activities that happened at the track for our crew on the qualifications weekend. If you want to see that, be a part of it, patreon.com/Boss Hog of Liberty. You can join at any level over there. You get added to a super secret Facebook group. You get to interact with us over there. You get the show notes in advance. You get to see what's going on. Get to see a little behind the scenes action. And if you are at $50 or more a month, Mr. Bones fill in, Forrest, what happens?
You get a personal thank you.
All right. Now I want to hear you. But you know how Bones does these pitches.
Please don't compare me to anything related to Bones.
I just want you to show him how it's done. As he's not here, I want you to put him to shame.
All right. So, first up, if you're looking for a new Honda, go see Jonathan Phillips at Ed Martin Honda in Indianapolis. If you're looking for some personalized gear, our friend Blake Reese at Varsity Outfitters here in Newcastle, he will hook you up. I think he's the one that has the shirt that Jeremiah is wearing.
He did the custom embroidery, and there's a limited edition of some new stuff coming out.
All right. If you're in the mood for an RV, or even considering it, head on out to Walnut Ridge on State Road 38 to see our friend Tommy Oakes. All of us, unfortunately, comes with life, comes death. So Morrell Monument Cleaning, we're heading into Memorial Day weekend. Get those headstones cleaned up. Reach out to Morrell Monument Cleaning. And lastly, certainly not least, Pops Recycle. If you're in the mood to get an old bike freshened up or just go buy an old bike that looks new, check out Pops Recycle.
That's right. I did hear from Joyce over at Morrell Monument Cleaning over the weekend. The advertising's working. Bones' tagline kind of worked because they said, hey, we heard about it on Boss Hog, and we know that you don't clean the dead people. They legitimately said that.
Don't give him any more credit.
The sales pitch worked. It was an unauthorized ad campaign, but it did work.
I bet for enough money, she cleans the dead people up.
Only he would think of that too. That's just him.
Yeah, I don't know. It's advertising works. Your name here. You would take a Morrell Monument Cleaning sponsor on the car.
I would.
With a little
Absolutely,
tagline, they don't
certainly.
clean the dead people. You'd run that.
We can put a little logo of a dead person getting cleaned on there.
If you want, we'll clean the dead people.
Yeah, whatever you're into.
For a price.
I'm
All
just
right.
talking smack in the chat.
I'm not surprised. Needs some work, he says. Needs some work.
Sorry, Bones, can't hear you.
I think it's well done. All right. Let's just jump into it. Let's see where I know this is going to be a wandering episode. I made show notes to try to give us an idea, but we're going to be all over the place. It is Indy 500 race week. Qualifying is in the books. That's as good of a jumping off point as any. I do appreciate that, Mike, you asked me for show notes before a single lap of practice had been turned, as if I knew what the hell was going to happen.
Pull out your crystal ball and
I like to be prepared.
And I'm like, dude, I can't even make notes at lunch because there's a practice to come. And I thought, damn it, I knew it. I knew it's going to happen.
the old timer over here, one of them fresh off the typewriter.
Yeah.
He's gonna this thing doesn't go to print till 4:00, man. There's a reason.
Ian got it to me this morning.
Dude, you asked for like a week and a half ago, and I was like, I don't know. And then you asked me like 2 or 3 more times, and I said, I don't know.
He needed reading material for the plane.
You guys need to be more prepared.
It just changes so much.
It'd been hilarious. Let's go. You know what we need to do one time? Let's draw up like part of the show notes, like right after the Grand Prix about the 500.
Just predict
and then
it.
we'll just talk about whatever we came up to talk about.
Just do the show notes as written.
And then there'll be some glaring omission because of stuff happens during the month of May, and we'll just leave it out. And Mike said, why didn't we talk about that? Well, it was in the show notes.
All right.
Rossi hit the wall today.
Alex Palou won the pole. Rossi and Malukas complete row 1. That is the headline I have, which technically is plausibly true. And I said, and I mentioned this in your show,
they qualified in the front row.
They complete the front row. They're not necessarily starting. As of the recording of this show, 2016 Indy 500 champ Alex Rossi is in Methodist Hospital in Indianapolis after having a relatively significant impact in turn 2. If you're in the car, it was a very significant impact. If you're watching it on TV, it was pretty bad. I shared this on your show, Ian, and I think this is something we need to appreciate, is that there are 9 winners entered. They took the photo on the track today, Zach. You and your family shared it. I think you were there to see it taken.
Yeah.
9 winners of the Indy 500 altogether it entered in the race is 1 away from the historic number. Like that 10 in 1992 is in that era is what everybody says. It was like the golden era, the peak of Indy 500 races.
The
Pre-split.
most popular front row ever.
When you had the Unsers, you had Johnny Rutherford still there. You had AJ Foyt, you had Mario Andretti. These names are still gods in motorsports. And that's where we're at now. These are the gods of modern day motorsports in North America. So I wanted to just read that into the record. And the thought of Rossi not starting this race is especially when you put him in the front row like that. This freaking sucks.
Yeah, you feel bad for him, but yeah, he's in Methodist Hospital, rumored to be a foot injury. But when you look at the cars that they're driving today, if not for the advances in technology, that's Scott Brayton 2.0 right there.
Yeah, well, and there was a wheel that there's a rubber mark on I think it's the left side of the car where Pato O'Ward's car climbed the side of it, and that wheel would have hit his head today. So he doesn't have head injuries are terrible. Foot injuries may cost you a year of motorsports, and in that era of the early 90s, Mike, you know as well as anybody, drivers sat so far forward in the car that foot and ankle injuries were
foot
constant.
Box was constant.
Yeah. From 1990 until probably 1997, the foot and leg injuries were terrible.
Dismore and Ogaius still don't walk straight.
Yeah. And Stan Fox was also,
Fox.
yeah. And Stan Fox in 95 was horrific. All right. So that's that side. I just wanted to read the front row into the record and now we can kind of dissect how this weekend went. Zach, we were, and we talked about this in the Patreon, we got to experience Fast Friday. At the end of Fast Friday is what is a racing nerd's dream to
attend one of my favorite parts of the weekend.
To attend the qualifying draw.
Yeah.
15 minutes after practice ends, every driver in the field goes into Pagoda Plaza, and they or their representatives go draw a they actually grab a coin off of a table, and that coin has a number on it, and that's where you're going to start the race.
It's in like a jewelry box.
Yeah, qualifying order.
So they grab it. Scott Dixon sent up his youngest son.
You picked up several, it looks like.
This little redheaded
Will
kid.
Power's son did too.
Yeah, is that who it was?
Yeah.
And he drew the first one, and we're chuckling to ourselves going, this crowd will boo a child. Like I've seen it happen.
It was one of the roughest things to send somebody else up there to do, because if they do a good job and Kit's, yeah, that's a little bit of a legend moment for him to grab that for his dad. But then Alex's wife pulls 31, like not long after that, and then you just get this, not even booing necessarily, but there's a collective gasp. Yeah, like everybody groans, and like it doesn't matter who's up there, and sometimes it'll be like team owners, grandkids, or whatever.
Could be a sponsor, yeah,
sponsors' kids or something. So, but it is hilarious because if it's a bad draw, the whole group, because they're all nerds, it's a bunch of it's the core nerd people that are there. Will wince and just like, oop, well, that sucks to be you to have to go back there and tell. And they all know too it's a bad draw. Most of the time they know it's not good.
And the selection order is determined based upon their Friday practice speed, right?
Correct.
So fastest speed gets first pick.
Correct.
Yeah.
So do you want to have the early pick and have 1 in 33 odds, or?
It got down to the end, and I think that was like 32nd, 33rd, and 15th. Were like they were down at the end. There were very few good choices left.
Well, didn't 33rd go last? Didn't Catherine Legg?
Yeah, Catherine Legg
last and got 33rd. In the
Marcus Ericsson is so unexciting that we thought he had not drawn yet.
And we were openly celebrating, thinking that he was the last one to pick and that he was going to get 33. And these people are probably like, this sexist assholes over here. And no, turned out it was Catherine. I was like, oh, Catherine, like that's a bummer for Catherine.
Yeah,
and for all, I would have
given that one. That was on us.
Yeah.
But Zach's appreciation for Marcus Ericsson, it's always on display.
I just don't care. He's just, his voice annoys me, and it's always something else, somebody else's fault.
Once Florence Henderson was gone, Zach turned all of that hatred to Marcus Ericsson, and I just love it.
Yeah, he's just meh.
So that was the draw. Alex Pilow's wife. Apparently, Alex was joking, but like, this kind of sucks. And just told her to do better. She came walking right across us, and I'm like, it's going to be okay. I legitimately said that to her, and she's like, I don't know.
He did fine.
It turned out fine. So, Mike, will you explain why a bad draw, what the draw difference makes between going out first and going out 30th on
Depends
qualifying
on
day?
the weather, obviously.
On a typical year.
On a typical year, the earlier ones, the track is cooler and everything, so they do better. As it warms up and it gets worse, it gets slicker. And back in the old days when you ran right till 6 o'clock and bumping and that sort of stuff, it didn't make a whole lot of difference. But the draw, usually you want to be relatively early in the draw.
You'd like to be in that first hour.
Correct.
This was a situation where we had lost back in the day when I started paying attention to the Indy 500, and definitely in your era, Mike and Forrest Sorah, there were 4 qualifying days.
Correct.
Right. You could just go run any day you wanted to, and there were 42 hours of track time available to qualify your car.
On the 41st hour, there was a lot of bickering back and forth, putting cars in line that probably weren't going to qualify, the T cars, just to slow things down, to keep people in.
Just a lot of games and stuff happening.
But you still only had one pole day.
Correct. So this era, because we have 33 cars, we were going to try to take 2 days to do it. For the 20th year in a row, we had a different format as to how we're qualifying cars for the Indianapolis 500. But Saturday got washed out, so we went to this format where everybody was going to get one attempt. So your draw was the time you get to go, and if you were 15th, you were done for the day. If you were in the top 12, then you got to go again. Pillow ran, I think 10th or 11th was what his time turned out to be. He could have very easily been 15th and started this race mid-pack. And I looked,
a lot of cars.
Yeah.
Could have been in that position this year.
Takuma Sato wound up. A lot of people thought he was a fast 6 car. I think he's starting 13th. He just missed it by
that
a hair.
whole row had a chance to be in the top 12.
Ferrucci thought He's like, I have a 12 to 15 car.
So the draw made a big difference as to who made it and who didn't. Does this bother you guys, the qualifying format, or are you just numb to it at this point and just say, oh, whatever, I don't care?
It changes so much that I don't really pay attention. I try to, the first hour, it looks like the cars come through 4 pretty standard. And then as it gets slicker, it gets a little hairier and it's a little more fun. But no, I don't care.
Ian, you're a new fan to this. Did you understand what was going on in qualifying? Did the show make sense to you?
Yeah, I mean, I had to explain it to Maddie what was going on, and she kept asking 1,000 different questions, and then I was like, all right, you're asking too complex of questions. I know that they make 4 laps, average speed. That's where we're at. But it wasn't anything that was like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. But I understood what was going on.
I think there was still excitement and it was still an entertaining product.
I agree.
I thought this year made more sense than most because it actually was a fairly comparable format to the road course format.
Closer to what they do throughout the season.
Closer, just we're going to run them for a first round, and then we're going to pull 12 off, and then we're going to run those 12 again, and we're going to get a fast 6. And so that was essentially what their normal road course qualifying was, except you didn't have groups because obviously they're running one by one.
But the build up of the final 6, I mean, everybody thought Rosenquist was going to come out and contend, and then when he didn't, it was sort of just a letdown.
That format, I think they figured out that format works, and I can't remember what year it was. It was an Ed Carpenter pole year. It happened because of rain, and it was one of the first times they pushed it to after 6 o'clock, and that was the first time I think that they said, okay, we're running the fast 9 or whatever, slowest to fastest from their previous time to run for the pole. And I think they figured out, this one and done shot thing, reverse order, works. Like it builds tension because you're building up to, in theory, what should be the fastest car being last.
Because I think one of the first years they did the fast 6 or the fast 9, didn't they give them unlimited attempts to go out and run for the pole? The worst that they could get was 9th or however many were in that group. So
you couldn't go any faster
to
because your
Kumasato
car,
and go.
Yeah, but
your engine was too warm. Right?
But what happened? I remember one year, Tony Kanaan didn't even try. I think they had cars. Tony Kanaan went out, took the green flag, and then pulled over and parked it because he was already in whatever. They liked the starting position they were in, and they said there's no reason to risk the car to run again. So why do it? And so he didn't, and he said he did not want to. He was told to, but if I'm recalling correctly, it was when he was running for Jimmy Vasser. But yeah, he just didn't run the car. So I think that they figured, okay, we need to make them run it. But
I think they got lucky this year that nobody had a wreck. Nobody had a major problem. Everybody had a pretty clean 1 through 33. But having one shot, to me, I didn't like that segment of it. I still like the fast 6 or the fast 12. That's fine. Do that at the end of the day. But Presley, I want to hear from you on this too. I feel like that, a couple of years ago, Chevy had a plenum problem where the Chevys would almost have the equivalent of an overboost and they would drop down and all of a sudden it was a mess. Part of the Indy 500 is being able to wave off and say, I don't want that run. I want to come back out in a couple hours, and it builds the drama. When you only have one run at it, that part is like, man, you've got to have a mechanism to have another shot at this thing.
Well, and Stingray Robb came out and said it was a dumpster fire for him,
his time showed that.
Yes.
Yeah, with yesterday's time constraint, you either you get multiple shots at it, or
you do what they did.
Or you do what they did, yeah.
Presley, what'd you think?
I do like them having multiple attempts, but I think from an entertainment standpoint, it was also entertaining that they only had one, just for the sense, like you mentioned, Stingray Robb. Like, I think there was, I would say, at least 5 or 6, maybe more runs that you would have seen the drivers just completely wave off, but like probably like lap 2 or early in lap 3.
Renus VK.
Yeah.
Yep.
And even Connor's car looked like it drove terrible all weekend, in my opinion. And he wheeled it. Yeah. But I feel like there's a lot of those runs that they would have just bailed out because they knew that they could have gone again later in the day. And instead, since they only had one shot, I mean, it was kind of cool, sitting in the grandstands and watching their inputs whenever they go to the onboard, because it was like, gosh, they still got 2 more laps to go and they're hanging on for dear life there. So that was cool. But I do think that they should be able to go back out again. I think the absolute worst part of any format that I've seen is, and this may have been already planned had they had cars to bump, but like I think giving the bump cars on years that we're bumping an hour to bump is kind of goofy in a sense, just because, you know, there's only so much more that they're going to extract out of it. And if you've got one, say, because what is it? It's usually like 3 or 4 cars that bump at the very end.
Yeah.
Depending on the year. So you'll have one that's like 229.5, and you got one that's like 229.2, and then one that's 228.0, and then one that's like
218.
Then like 226 or 225. So it's like we've got an hour here,
and we're going to watch them try to find 3 miles an hour.
And the worst thing is that they don't use 45 minutes of it because they all want to go at the very end of the hour. So they'll go out and they'll make a run. Then they'll sit for 40 minutes. Then you'll have the one guy that goes with 4 minutes left to try to gain 4 mile an hour more than what he's run the entire week. And it's like, I don't know. We're kind of building up for nothing and wasting a lot of time. So I'm glad that we didn't see that, although bumping would have been nice.
The one tweak I would make is, and it's what you tried to have yesterday, I guess, on Saturday and didn't have it. We got through the line in 2.5 hours. So we went from 11 until 1:30, 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then we were done and sitting there watching this monster truck thing that happened in the back stretch.
Oh, we can talk about the monster truck.
What are we doing?
So
That was dumb.
that was,
At least it wasn't a truck jump that took out like a third of the infield.
It wasn't on the front straightaway.
I know.
They did it on the back straightaway.
I don't understand. When they
All
announced
12
that, everyone
people
booed.
saw it.
it was on the screen. It was going 100 miles an hour. You're watching cars do 240 into
103.
turn 3, and it's going 103
I can
miles
see
an
a
hour.
car doing 100 mile an hour down 16th Street from the stands too. It just
So every time they
But,
do something in a monster truck, I just chuckle at it.
The run to 6 o'clock is awesome. When you have the 2 lines, and then you'll like 5:45, you'll see somebody who's in the I'm going to keep my timeline, and they say nope, not anymore, and they yank out and they move over, and you see other people scrambling and stuff. That they missed that.
They
and
get
then,
in the Scott Brayton
and they were
line.
going to try and do it Saturday because that's what they were going to have. They were going to have if they had the Saturday qualifying, they were going to have 15, and those 15 were going to then fight to be the top 12.
But you don't have the David and Goliath like you did with Alonso not making
No.
Juncos getting in.
Well, the sad part too is the last couple of times they've done bumping, it's been usually
Dale
like-
Coyne car bumping Dale
or Dale Coyne or Ray Hall Letterman.
Yeah.
It's a team that's having a rough year and then a one-off, and they're just and the team's cannibalizing themselves. Like you have Jack Harvey bumping Graham Rahal out, which is his. Let's be honest, his de facto future owner if he were to stay with that team. Like Graham's the marketing arm of that team, I think. So yeah, that's you're kind of like, oh, this is kind of sad to like watch like a team just beating each other up trying to get into the race.
So and the team can't even celebrate it either because it's like you're celebrating.
Oh no, yeah,
like
you
knocking
can't.
out your coworkers.
Yeah.
In all of this downtime, Zach and I went semi-viral, slightly Facebook viral. I posted something, and from our perspective, it looked like they had changed the dimensions of the gap of pit road.
I saw
I
them
saw
both
that post, and I didn't understand.
I am shocked.
You had me scratching my head thinking,
Yeah.
what the
Okay.
hell are you looking at?
I was shocked at how it looks from up there.
From the
So-
penthouse.
So if you're in the
at the
penthouse
start-finish
boxes on the front straightaway, the pit wall looks like it is 2 even in height walls, the inner and outer, because the pit wall's 2 different walls.
It's the perspective of where we were
It
sitting.
looks like 2 even walls
it didn't
that are
change.
4 inches apart.
Well, that's what we were sitting
know.
there going,
And,
we
well,
saw this last weekend,
told him,
and
yeah,
there
I
was
was like-
there was room.
Yeah, I was down there on the pit lane last week, and I saw a person walking in between these 2 walls. But when you're up there, it looks like 2 dead even walls
That are 10
4
inches apart.
and if that, like inches apart.
My first thought was, where in the hell is Mike McKown going to go on race day?
Yeah. And then I switched sides of the track.
I
and you go
can't
inside,
hardly
it's
get my
good.
60-year-old butt over that wall anymore. I'll tell you that.
But
So I posted this. I'm like, all right, racing nerds, what's going on? And then they took over. I think it had, when I looked this morning, it had like 16,000 impressions, and all kinds of people had started jumping in. Yeah. It was just a dumb picture.
Were they all calling you an idiot? Or?
Eventually, but so Zach and I are having this conversation in the stands. And And then Zach goes down and takes a picture and then posts it. And then somebody then takes Zach's thing, screenshots it, and sends it to me like, this guy figured it out. I'm like,
yeah, because I was next to him, and then I went to the inside of the track.
You guys didn't trust the picture I sent you off the TV?
No, we did. And we had already, but once things go viral, folks just go nuts and they don't give a damn anymore.
I like the clown that said, well, they don't put pit boards out there.
Yeah, we don't need it.
We don't need them anymore.
But I mean,
no kid.
If I would tell anybody just to go up there once and look down and tell me if you don't see two dead even walls that are parallel a few inches apart.
It's a math program.
And I even followed it all the way to the pylon, and it looks the whole wall, and then it just looks like it widens out a little bit for the attenuator at the north end of the pit lane. But yeah, it was very strange because I was like, there's no way they would have done this and not told anybody.
So this is how we spent the 2 hours of downtime instead of watching race
telling
cars.
You what's going on down here.
You had me confused from turn one because I saw your post at the beginning of qualifying, and I was down in turn one. I'm looking down at your post. I'm like, yeah, there's no gap there. And I'm looking up. I'm like, well, I see one. I'm looking back and forth. I'm like, damn,
you're the one that had the angle that just sent me.
I started going through every photo that I had of the Speedway, and I sent him a picture from turn one last year. I was like, the only thing I can reference is turn one last year, and it's wide open.
Then I was like, so they either widened the straightaway or they widened pit lane.
Well, I thought
I knew they didn't pour new concrete.
Well, we were trying to figure out if they moved a wall or what they did, if they modularly moved the inside wall. Because I'm like, well, maybe they finally gave up and widened pit road, and nobody mentioned it. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah,
this is a story.
This is what we had to talk about because it was a long day. But it's interesting that how that optical illusion works from the outside the track. Yeah, and then somebody in the group, Allie, said it. She's like, yeah, I think it's just the angles. And then I posted it's the angles. And she's like, I said that. I'm like, yeah, we were too busy being knuckleheads to pay attention to what you were saying. But yeah, it was, it's one of those, because I'll tell you though, if there is one person and one track which would make a significant change in a very short period of time and not tell anybody, and it looked like nothing happened, it would be Roger Penske and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I could totally see them, because one of the things we talked about was drainage. The front straightaway doesn't drain. It's dead flat, and it causes issues when they have rain and road course races and stuff. So like, well, maybe they did something for drainage or something. Who knows? Because now it looks like there's some drains towards the yard of bricks part of the track. But it was fun to be idiots for an hour or two.
The plan was that most of us were going to spend time together in the paddock hanging out. So I want an explanation from Forrest and from Ian as to what the hell happened to our plan. We were gonna spend some time in the paddock watching qualifying together. We'll start with Forrest.
Anyone who has driven westbound on I-70 near the rest area in between Knightstown and Greenfield may see a deceased animal on the side of the road that interrupted our travels yesterday morning. Maybe.
Allegedly.
That did happen.
You own a deer slayer.
Yeah. Very newer car.
Hadn't even had an oil change yet.
Had to be towed away. It's lovely.
Glad you're here tonight, buddy.
Yeah.
What animal
picked up a rental car today.
What animal did you kill, Ian? What happened to your grand weekend? You talked to me, you planned this for 3 weeks. I said, all right, yeah, you come out, I'll do your show the next day. You do my show. It's your first trip out to the Speedway to watch race cars in competition. I'm texting you where to park, what to happen. What the actual F?
Listen,
where were you at?
I was at home. That's the problem. We were going to come down Saturday, me and the girls. Well, actually, it kind of pivoted. It was me and Brindley, and then it was me, my dad, and Brindley, and then Saturday morning, it was just like, shit, all right, I guess the whole family's going, which I text you that. And then it rained the whole day. What am I supposed to do? Go up here and just sit there beside you, wait out the rain?
For 42 years, I've sat there.
We drank beers in the campground, and when they turned the jet dryers on, we said, well, it looks pretty dry, let's go up. And then we watched the track at 95% dry, and the rain came back, and we said, well, shit.
And then Sunday, I went to the gym really early. I always say whenever we're about ready to leave to my kids, I'm like, hey, we're wheels up in 10. I said that. Brindley said you didn't want to go. I was pissed. I hadn't talked to anybody in the household for probably an hour. Well, I talked, but it wasn't to them.
You had a mutiny.
Yep. And then I tried to explain to my 7-year-old the importance of today, and I compared it to the Super Bowl, and she just didn't give a shit. She just didn't understand. Even whenever
she doesn't know what Indy means.
That's when you drag them along anyways.
I didn't want to listen to it.
Or you leave without them.
I couldn't do that either. Felt bad.
Did you feel anything for us?
No. Not even
Your
in the
day still went on.
Yeah. You still had a great time without me.
You could have looked at that wall and gone, you freaking idiot. It's
I felt a little bit bad yesterday, but after the first session, I went down and helped my family get in the car and leave. And I went back into the stands, and I was like, I'll be home with the camper later.
Well, I was trying to figure out how to get the damn IndyCar app to work on my phone so I could see what was going on.
Meanwhile, I left before the sun came up with no sleep and
So, Presley,
parked it out there.
let's talk about your itinerary for the last 10 days. How many racetracks have you been to, and what have you watched?
Gosh, see, it all runs together. Well, we're like at the tail end of like a 5 or 6 week stretch in ARCA. So I've been to Kansas, Talladega, Nashville, Tennessee, Watkins Glen, New York. We were in Toledo this past weekend or yesterday, day before. And then the Brickyard. So ARCA didn't go to the Brickyard. That'd be something that'd probably end the sport. But
there would be 0 cars remaining.
Yeah, 0 cars, 0 anything.
Nobody wants to watch an 07 Fusion run around the Brickyard.
No, or like a 90s, or like
I would.
like a 90s Charger. Yeah,
That would be a golf cart race.
yeah. But no, we were at Toledo. The race ended maybe 10 p.m., 9:30, 10 p.m. I was doing photography, so I was up till way too late, going through photos and doing all that stuff. Alarm went off 5:30 in the morning, so I could get back for Indy 500 qualifying. Booked it up. It's about 3 hours from Toledo to my house. So then parked it, grabbed her, headed out to the Speedway. We got up to the very top of the penthouse seats and up to where the section was the second they sent Dixon out onto the track.
So you got to see all
Great
of
timing.
qualifying.
Saw every single lap.
Well done.
Yep.
That's a true fan.
Yeah.
Something to aspire to, Ian. All right. I want predictions, and this is your segment of the show, Ian. You got some betting numbers, because we do predictions, and we get you can choose a favorite driver and a dark horse driver.
What's the rules for a dark horse?
You are in charge of saying that somebody is not a dark horse, Ian, because I wanted an independent arbitrator, because Mike will be like, look, Elio Castroneves hasn't won a race in 5 years, so he's a dark horse.
No.
Or he'll try to be like, oh, well, Scott McLaughlin's a dark horse. He didn't even make lap 1 last year. Something like that. That's what he'll do. So be prepared. You got to be the judge.
What? Okay.
All right.
Fair enough.
I have a great one.
So I think your number is, if they're in the top 12 in odds, you have to overrule them.
Oh, top 12 in odds?
I think in odds, or if it doesn't pass the gut test.
I don't bet, so I don't know what the hell the odds are.
Well, that's what he's got. He's got them up over there.
I sent the odds to you.
He's got them over there. So you guys can, you just give your numbers, and then if he gives you the buzzer, or Zach gives you a buzzer, then you know
buzzer
that, or whatever. You got a soundboard over
I'll
there.
just drop some Betsy in there.
You got some options. you just give us the reject. So I want your winner and your dark horse. Your dark horse could be the winner, could be a top 2 or 3 finish for him.
Oh.
Let's start with Mike, so that the board is open, and you guys can choose the same people. We'll start with you, Mike. Give me your prediction. You've got to watch practice all week remotely on the Fox apps, or on Fox, or on the apps. Who's your pick to win, and give me your sleeper.
I'm still going to go with Ryan Hunter-Reay.
This is your
That's
to
my
win.
pick to win.
Okay.
Last year he was 1 pit stop away from winning with an inferior team, and now he's got Arrow McLaren behind him. I think he's extremely smooth, and he's extremely smart. And then my dark horse is going to be the Stash, Foster.
Oh, okay. Not the son of the Stash.
Not the son of the Stash.
Louis Foster. All right.
Plus 25,000 right there, Michael.
Yep. That's a dark horse.
That's that is a deep cut. All right, Mr. Plank, who's your winner?
year after year, I keep coming back to this. And one of these years, it's going to pay off, even though I don't think I picked him last year. Connor Daly. I want to see it happen. And it'd be even better.
He's fast.
It'd be even better with it being a one-off.
He did take some damage to the car today. And everybody talks about how important your under tray is. They said that he went to doing like pit stops only after the Rossi crash because he didn't have they had to replace the underbody in the car and they wouldn't have time to do that. But that's a great pick, and everybody in Indiana is going to be excited. Dark horse.
I'm going to keep it Indiana and go Ed Carpenter.
I didn't hear a buzzer, so I think we're okay. Presley Sorah.
Yeah.
Who's your winner?
So I put this on Twitter a few days ago, like 10 minutes before the first practice rolled out because I wanted it in writing for when it happens. I've got a really good, and I just go off a gut feeling. I think Pato is going to win this year, regardless of the crash today. And
did they go to a backup car?
So well.
Are they fixing it, or are they going backup car?
I heard that there was some tub damage, and they're going to.
It's tub damage. Yeah.
Okay.
But he runs so good every single year that I feel like eventually he has to win it. But I just think I have a good gut feeling that he's going to do it this year. And I don't even know if the car has been there in practice necessarily. Like, I think you can pick out quite a few guys that look better. But I feel like actually last year, from what I remember, I don't feel like he was really anywhere most of the month and then into the race. And all of a sudden, we were into the final stops, and then you look up, and it's like, oh, well, there's Pato, and he's there again.
Yep,
so,
100%.
Yeah,
he was furious at the two lap cars at the end of the race last year because he felt like he couldn't get any further up in traffic, and Pelot played the lap cars perfectly, so that stalled them out.
And I don't feel like his car last year was capable of running necessarily where he was, and he will.
This is Pato's 6th or 7th 500, and
he missed one.
Only one of them that he's run in he's finished outside of like the top 6.
Yeah.
Who's your sleeper, your dark horse?
Kyle Collette. Yeah. I'm putting money on it. I swear I am, because he
going to the back even.
Absolutely, 100%.
Well, don't give him a good chance for a strategy call, and he doesn't know that he doesn't know.
Exactly, and I've been talking literally since the test at the end of April. Like, I'm pretty sure he might have run the most laps at the test, but he was pretty darn close to it, if not, because I feel like every time I look up, there goes Kyle Collette, and he was mixing up in the draft. He was mixing up by himself. Like, he was just burning laps and getting experience.
And teams got fast cars this year.
Teams got fast cars, and the entire month, I mean, he hasn't put a foot wrong. He's looked really, really solid. I don't think that there's anything visually that you would say, oh, yeah, that dude's a rookie. And like you said, he doesn't know what he doesn't know.
Some of these Brazilians are absolute badasses as young guys. Tony Kanaan was, Elio was.
He kind of seems like he's just stone cold.
And he's in a fast car. Yeah. He seemed totally unfazed
like, yeah, whatever.
This past weekend.
I heard that morning somebody said, yeah, he thinks he's got a car to get in the top 12. I'm like, who does he think he had? And then he did it.
A lot like Rossi in Rossi's rookie year, like where he doesn't know necessarily how to feel around Indy. So it's just, he's kind of taking it as it happens. And I don't know. I have a good feeling about it.
What are his odds right now? Kyle Collette. We got to Americanize him, make him Kyle Collette.
Plus 7,000.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Pretty good money there.
Yeah.
$10 is 700.
He's probably a field bet.
Ian?
So I have bets pending. And one of the bets I have pending is on David Malukas. I definitely think that he's going to win. But I've also said that about every single race this year. Jeremiah, you've gotten a text about that.
It's true. You've lost a lot of money betting on David Malukas to win this yeir so far.
Keeps putting.
I don't even call him David.
Answering letter B.
Just keeps going green on roulette every damn time.
You just push the button and let it go.
Who's your dark horse?
I think I'm gonna go Graham Rahal.
Really?
Yep.
You know they have to turn just left this time, right? On the right.
I wouldn't
when
place
they
that.
turn right, he's been pretty good this year. 2 podiums.
I'm not placing a bet on it.
2 podiums, but it would be
someone else's fault.
40 years since his dad won. And if we get rained out on Sunday, and they push it back a week,
legend in the making right
and
there.
if they push it back a week, you know what day it'll be on? 40 years to the day since his dad won the race.
Can they push back a week though? Or is it Detroit?
Yeah, Detroit be next weekend.
They have to go Tuesday.
Screw them. Push it.
Anybody watch the documentary?
Not
I
yet.
heard it's really good.
Oh, it's wonderful.
I've not yet.
It's wonderful. And that's the first race that I like have memories of the actual race.
Yeah, I was there too.
So I wasn't there. I listened to it from my grandparents' pool. First 2 days of it, I sat in my grandmother's living room while it rained outside.
And I have a festival car with Indy 500 champion Bobby Rahal autographed on it. So
Is that a Pontiac vibe?
no, it's a Corvette.
He ends it by saying that he's won 3 IndyCar championships, but he only gets introduced as the
Indy
1986 Indy 500 winner.
Zach Burcham, who's your winner for the Indy 500 this year?
I love Felix Rosenqvist to win. And I was bummed that he didn't. His last qualifying run, I thought his only way he's going to get this if he drops like a 2:33. And I think he said something he didn't know what happened with the last run, but I like Felix.
But of all the Sirius XM paint schemes he's run,
This is
why
so
does it
shitty.
have to happen in the Morgan Wallen car?
Yeah.
I thought
not a
about that for the
good-looking car.
poll.
Not
I-
a good looking car at all.
I thought
It's
about
ugly.
that for the poll, and I thought the racing
And
gods
it's
have
baby
smote
shit
him today.
brown.
Yes.
It's just, well,
It looks better in person than it does on TV.
It does look better in person. It's kind of like a whatever
No, it
military
doesn't. It's still
tan.
terrible.
I'm-
But
yeah,
of the
I don't like
liveries
it.
that they've run on that car,
They've had
It's-
some really cool ones.
yeah, the Grateful Dead livery would be fire
The
going around the
Ozzy
track.
one was awesome.
Yeah, like they needed a colorful one, and instead they went with
Don't forget Aerosmith.
Stolen Valor tan. So
Who's your dark horse, Zach?
okay, Dark Horse is actually hard because I'm looking at the lineup.
They're
And
all
there's
there are 9 former winners in this race.
and a bunch of them are at the bottom. Like there's a bunch of guys, not the very back, but like Will Power's 19th, Ryan Hunter-Reay's 22nd, Joseph Newgarden's 23rd, Kirkwood's 25th. So there's a bunch of people that are pretty good that didn't qualify well. So that doesn't mean that they're dark horses.
Don't come out and say Joseph Newgarden's a dark horse.
No,
Yeah.
he's
Fine.
not. I do Marcus Armstrong. I think
you're just living the Shank life today.
Yeah, well, I think he's one of those dudes. He is.
That's a good looking
I
car
think he
that
does.
he's driving.
I think he does a
It is.
good
The
job of
Remax
like
car?
containing it.
The accurate
Oh.
car.
I don't like
Car
it.
looks really good.
But he's like, he's got some swagger to him, and I think if he was put in that position, I don't think he cares whether or not he can or can't do it. He believes he can, and believing in yourself in that moment could go a long way. And I think he's also, I think he's a Chip Ganassi guy, and I think he's been hanging around those guys, and he's probably learned a lot. But I think he's getting to the point where he's like, people need to respect who I am, and that would be a statement win for him if he was given the opportunity.
Does anybody remember what Mr. Bones picked last week?
No,
Nobody cares.
was Bones here last week?
Yeah, he was. We made him give the Indy 500 picks.
Oh, I forgot.
Those we'll check the record and add them to the sheet. I'm going to give you my dark horse, and that's Jack Harvey.
From dead last, from 33rd
Wow.
place.
DFL. I'm going Jack Harvey. I think you guys are very right on Connor Daly, and I think that those two cars are racy fast, and they polish the damn things 365 days a year at Dry Ride Bold, and they know what the hell they're doing.
His car's clean. It's undamaged
It is.
and
It is so
pristine.
perfect. So if they can get the strategy right, don't be surprised if Jack Harvey finds his way forward. Not saying he's going to win, but it's
Hollywood.
and by God, he's going to get some TV time.
Oh, man.
If he's marching his way front, those people are going to be so damn happy to show their talent coming.
Oh,
to the
there'll be
field.
a shot from the outside of Townsend and Hinch jumping up and down the window if he's winning that race.
Kevin Lee interviewing Jack Harvey and Victor Lane. Come on.
And that was Hunter Ray's car from last year.
And it is the car
Yeah,
Hunter
which,
Ray- damn
like
near
you
won
said,
in.
was
Correct.
on
So,
track to win.
That's my dark
So,
horse. I gave my prediction on Ian's show earlier today, and I said Alex Palou was probably going to win the race. But I'm not. I will also be very open to a Malukas win. Now, you already claimed Malukas, and you peed on that territory, so I'm going to write down Palou. But I will, in full disclosure, say that I did pick Malukas on your show.
We're going
I-
to force
but
you
you've-
to
but
take
you've-
the
I would
But
be
you've
happy
claimed
with
him.
the Malukas win.
Oh,
So I-
Lucas win would be awesome. That dude shows so much emotion.
I would be over the moon excited. I love new winners. I want Rossi back in full form. I want him in this race this weekend. And if not, I would love to have David Malukas in this race and everybody return, and we got 10 winners in the field next year. I would love a first time winner. Jack Harvey, Felix Rosenquist, whoever. I want a first time winner. Love that. I think it's great for the sport. I want somebody that's a full timer that's in the series that's going to give a damn.
What do you think about a 5-time winner?
He's in a Shank car.
Yes, it would be great. It would be a great story. But this series needs a full time guy that's going to be there for the rest of the year. Graham winning would be great, but damn it, if he retires in victory lane, who's surprised, right? Like that's like he's done it. He's ticked the box. He's over it. But Hanks and he's done.
If a one-off car goes out and win it, does that open the door to teams saying, "Hey, they've proven that it can be done if you focus on this one race"?
No, because it didn't
get the fame that comes.
It didn't.
From that
Shank already did it. I mean, a lot of one-offs have already done it. It doesn't change anything. Dan Weldon did it for
William
Schmidt-Peterson. The 98 car. It wasn't Schmidt. Well, it was a cousin car to Schmidt-Peterson with Brian Herta. I don't know. This series needs a winner that is going to represent them really well, and it needs to be a full-timer, in my view.
You don't think Connor Daly would do that even though he's not a full-timer? I think
he would, but
he'd be everywhere. He'd be at every race.
Yeah, he's already at every race.
Yeah.
It'll be like Dan Weldon won, and it's like, well, why the hell isn't he at the next race? Why is he not in a car until,
You know
Texas
what, though? I would not be
year?
upset, though, if that somehow put pressure on the league to figure out how to actually get teams in to the series without them having to, I don't know, because nobody knows what a charter will go for now. But the whole thing, they've locked down the charter saying that for anything other than 500, you have to have a charter to run. You can't run, in theory, I guess, any extra cars or anything. And they have to come up with a way for a team to get in. And if that would put a little leverage on him, I think he'd be, in the moment, he'd be fantastic because he's a crowd favorite and the local guy. And he has tried and had the bad luck and gone through like the TK cycle of he's there, and then he gets hit. Well, he got hit by a random tire the 1 year coming off too. So that'd be interesting. First, Felix Rosenquist would be great because I think he's one of those guys that does people. If you're a diehard fan, you know he's a good guy and you know he's an integral driver to the series.
Brand new data a week ago,
but he doesn't get a lot of love because he's not always winning all the time. But I think he's one of those guys that's very additive to the program. Like owners want Felix Rosenquist driving their car because they know the whole team gets better.
He's a great driver to have in the WHOL Racing Fantasy League.
All right, this concludes the competition segment of the program. Let's talk about the lifestyle segment of the show. First timer in the room here. Ian's going to his first Indy 500.
Oh, dang.
What does he need to know? How early does he need to get to his seats? Where should he be parking? What's he need to bring?
Please tell me you already have parking.
Yeah, we've got that. So obviously you saw my wife was on crutches and we were like, what are we going to do?
Milk that.
But she's going to.
Yeah.
I'm going to not be able to sit in my seat the whole time. I'm going to be halfway across the track probably. But yeah, we've got parking. We're going with people. So her cousin, they go every single year. I just got into watching IndyCar this year and they were like, hey, do you want to go?
All right. So you're not going as complete noobs.
No.
You're going with.
No, we're going with seasoned vets. Yeah.
This is also for the audience. So what do they need to know? When should somebody arrive in their seat?
To the seats.
90 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm never that early.
I feel like about 9:30 in the morning.
In your seat or in the track?
In the
Presley's a hardcore.
Wow.
We live an hour and a half from the racetrack, and we leave at like 6 in the morning.
Wow.
That's getting in.
So you like go straight there, straight
I want to
your
see
seats.
every single festivity and everything.
So
I'll tell you what, a couple years ago, we got backed up in traffic. This was probably 22, maybe 23. I think 22. We got backed up in traffic over on the North 40 side. And I think, is that 38, maybe?
30th Street.
30th Street.
30th or 38th Street, yeah.
Yeah. So we were out there and we were backed up, I kid you not, 5 miles. And this was like, it was like 11. No, it was probably 10:30. I mean, there was a very high chance we weren't going to make the start. I got out and I ran. I made it. I was in the seat and I was not risking it in the slightest. But ever since then, now we keep track of when we leave, and we leave plenty early. But I want to see every single festivity that there is. I want to see the dudes drop down from the helicopters and the planes, and If they've got a little army truck that wants to go do circles over in turn 2, I want to see it.
You want it all.
I want everything.
So my goal is to be in line on 16th Street well before the cannon goes off at 6 a.m. And the last 2 years, I've been in line at about 5:30, and I've been as far back as Tibbs. So, that's a pretty good distance back when they're running 2 lanes of traffic in from the east.
What's your food plan, Ian, for race day?
I have no idea. I just know I'm packing a cooler full of beer, and that's it.
All right.
You have to pack in
you know
stages.
you don't use cash because there is no more cash.
No cash, yeah.
There are machines that'll convert cash over to a card into Penske bucks inside the track.
Penske dollars.
In case someone does not have a card to their name.
So if you do have to buy food, I priced it out in the penthouse yesterday. A brat $7.49, a hot dog was $6.49, and a bag of chips is $3.49. The going price for a domestic beer, $9.49, $9.50.
I think you can buy like an 18-pack of the 16-ounce Miller Lite track cans cheaper than you can buy 2 of the Miller Lite track cans.
It's crazy to me to pay $9.50 for a beer if you can't plan enough to bring a cooler.
For a Miller, and it's Miller Lite or Coors Light.
Yeah, it's the Miller Coors sponsors the track, and that's what you get.
Yep.
It's the greatest value in racing is in sports. Is that you can bring your own cooler of whatever you want.
Yeah, I don't know the last time I bought some concessions last year, I think.
I've been there all year. I've bought no concessions.
I bought a track burger
I bought a track burger
race day on.
They're not actually that. I guess I don't get too many NFL games. I think NFL scale that's not that expensive. I think they tried to kind of
the pricing has gone up the last couple of years.
It's not Masters concession pricing, but it's not bad.
I saw they sold a lot of chicken tenders meals this week because I saw
Friday
so many of those boxes.
Friday I was out there with my daughter and I went with the track dog and she went with the chicken tender basket.
How much was the chicken tender basket?
I don't know, for 2 beers, 2 hot dogs.
How much could a banana cost, Michael? $10? Forrest doesn't know money.
For 2 beers, 2 hot dogs, and a chicken tender basket, it was like $45.
Yeah.
I like the little Asian lady with the fried rice.
At the Speedway?
Yep, down in turn 4.
Are you kidding me?
There is.
This is the first time hearing
the
of this.
kebabs right behind the pagoda look pretty phenomenal.
There's some different concessions options behind the Tower Terrace.
Yeah, right there.
Grandstands, and then right next to the pagoda.
About where
tunnel.
I am at pit entrance, there's food shack.
I know where I'm going on Carb
Presley,
Day.
where are your seats?
Middle short shoot of 1 and 2.
That's a long ass
we are as far away. You know what? A lady
Inside?
that sits by you guys
Outside.
came up and tried to sit in my seats a couple of years ago. A woman came to I'm in the North Vista. I was far away from you.
Long ways
And
away.
she came up, she's like, "You guys are in my seats." I'm like, "I don't think so. Let me see your ticket." "Ooh, you're in the South Vista." She's like, "Where am I?" "The North Vista." "Where are your seats?" I was like, "All the way there." And it was like cars were moving. Like they were like parade laps that started. And I was gleeful. Another karma train hitting at the racetrack.
Patreon for Zach.
Zach can be real
that
petty.
side of Zach.
Yeah. I'm an asshole.
So Zach, you and I Thursday morning will be our traffic into the race.
We get there so early. We show up on Thursday.
Elbows out, full contact camping.
And that's just against the yellow shirts that run the lot.
Especially against fences.
We will be lining up. Dude, I had one more small bitch session. Friday, we were rolling in to park our campers in lot 2, and they refused to open the gate that's like 15 feet wider for the campers to go in, and made us enter with our trucks and campers through a gate that's meant for just automobiles.
Yeah.
They were just trying to peel the side off of a camper.
Yeah.
It was
the road they didn't want. The road they didn't
we
want.
were experts.
Yeah, the road they didn't want to open literally is the road that runs between the 2 rows of campers. It's like the road that campers use.
The one we needed.
Yeah. Instead, I had to turn around. I had to turn like I'm Snowman and it's Smokey and the Bandit, making sure I didn't rip the back corner of my camper off.
Yeah, it's always fun. So Thursday morning, we will, Zach, you and I will rendezvous somewhere around 4-something a.m.
Oh, dark 30.
To land on a street somewhere at 6 o'clock and hope we don't get towed or run off by the Speedway police so that we can get into our parking spot at 7 and then wait for an hour to actually get to our camp spot and hopefully be set up by 9:30. 9:30 Thursday morning is when I'll have my track.
Yeah.
My heart rate goes back to normal.
I'm hoping our lot usually is chill. It's a bunch of repeats. So I always just hope for that when we get there. And if they haven't clustered up, whatever. We have some guys that think they're really smart, run the lot, and they keep redoing how they do it, and they haven't got it down yet.
The weekend forecast looks problematic, but it is still 6 days from race day. There's a 90%
8 times.
There's a 90% chance carb day is rainy as of right now.
That's all day.
All day. Have they ever delayed a carb day? The track activities, concert, anything in that? Carb day has become weird on this Friday deal. Would they?
They moved it from Thursday to Friday.
It used to be Thursdays to Fridays.
They'll just rain it out.
So would they push it back? They would just say the hell with it, and we're not doing anything Saturday. They want that track pristine.
I think it was like
2000.
2010.
I don't know, because especially if they're putting a couple cars back together, I can't.
Here's what to do with those guys, because the problem is with Saturday, you have a whole other slate of stuff to do. Like all of a sudden, can you do the parade because you have cars going on track? What they would do then is they would allow any of the cars that get rebuilt. They would probably give them a install lap and like 2 laps to make sure the cars are together on Friday or Saturday morning or something like that.
That's what they did with Kanan last year when he was filling for Larson or standby.
They'll give them like a 2-lap special session, and then they'll be like, okay, everybody's done.
So theoretically, if Friday gets rained out, if Rossi can't answer the bell and is unable to participate, they got to figure out how the hell to get a 33rd car in and get them track time of some sort.
Who would be the fill-in?
I think it'd be Callum Ilott.
I think it'd be Callum Ilott, just because I have seen Callum Ilott every single day that I've walked into Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and he is very visibly around. I've seen Linus Lundqvist at some point, but at this
point it's been so long since he's been in a car.
He wasn't in one last year, and Ilott did the full schedule last year.
Yeah. So I think it'd be Callum based on just he has been available.
Or Schwartzman.
Yeah.
Or Wilson.
Steph Wilson. Yeah, but he has no laps. But he did. It would be a full circle thing for Steph Wilson to get the chance, since he lost his ride and Ray Hall replaced him, right?
Yeah.
I bet it would be very interesting to have hung around. Like I was at the track today, and so Jeremiah said, well, they just rolled the back up to the garage, and I saw them. I was walking above Gasoline Alley. I saw them roll it up, and then I saw them bring the wrecked car in. It'd be interesting to see everybody was like watching that car go over and stand next to where like their little war room is and see who shows up, because you know that immediately
there's phone calls.
There were phone calls being made from whoever thought that they had a chance at that seat.
My brother's been a guest of Ed Carpenter Racing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this last week. He's in the supply chain of one of the sponsors. They have a reserve driver. Technically, IndyCar teams now have reserve drivers. It's Hunter McElroy. Hunter McElroy has never run an Indy 500. I don't know that he's done any laps at the Speedway on the oval.
Oh,
but he's their reserve driver.
Oh,
so I don't. What the hell does that mean?
Yeah,
don't they have Indy Next guys?
Yeah, but this guy is their. I mean, he's technically their IndyCar reserve guy.
I think the reserve driver thing is like a bit of a joke. Because hasn't Rahal Letterman had Yuri Vips on as a reserve driver for like 7 years?
Yeah, but he hasn't run anything.
He hasn't run anything, and they've brought in Mick Schumacher, and they brought in other people to run the third car.
But they haven't had an injury where they need a replacement.
Yeah, but they've never given him a legit crack at driving the car.
If this was going into Detroit, I think the answer is Hunter McElroy. This weekend,
Indy's different. Yeah,
I think you need a guy that's done the race, and I think Callum makes the most.
In that case, you're getting like a Saturday morning or Friday morning, if the rain, whatever, an ROP run through, and then throw him in to the practice session or something. But yeah,
I just can't imagine having Hunter drive it with no laps at the Speedway, and like, I mean, what does he?
I don't think they'll have that.
I mean,
they wouldn't with that. Yeah,
that would be insane.
It'd be Callum or some other IndyCar driver who has been at the 500 before, I would think. I'm hoping Rossi. It's gonna be horrible. Rossi has been so close so many times, and you could see he's getting.
It would hurt so much.
He wants it real bad, and he's got a good car. He's confident. I even told somebody, I told my wife at some point over the weekend, I was like, man, can you imagine if it was and I know Jeremiah doesn't want to win, but a Connor Daly Rossi showdown at the end of that race would be hilarious because they're two buddies. They're genuine friends. You couldn't be unhappy with the result. And like, he would just be a pretty interesting showdown to watch. But yeah, Rossi deserves a legit shot. I hope he's not injured enough that he can't drive.
I just checked. There's no further.
Yeah, no update. I was looking too before the show.
Yeah.
I was like,
just surprising.
Huh. It's been 8 hours and you don't have an answer yet. That's not,
I mean, they know that
not
he
good.
walked away from the car. So
he jumped down from the side pod.
Crazy, but
1 in 1,000 people will be at the Speedway on Sunday, assuming it's dry. So it becomes a massive city.
It's still crazy to think about. 1 in 1,000 people in the United States are attending one race.
They have a bit of a piss problem. Have you guys seen this story?
I read the article. I actually read the whole article.
Yeah.
So Mirror Indy, which then got picked up by the folks over at WTHR. The town of Speedway has a water treatment plant, and they have been getting fined 8 of the last 10 years because the ammonia levels in what they're discharging into Eagle Creek exceed what is allowed by the Indiana Department of Environmental Management. So the town of Speedway is looking at having to, this is what we do. This is our wheelhouse on this show. Water treatment plant upgrades are going to be required, and they need $14 million. So they're talking about tacking on a user fee to the people that live in Speedway because of what we do of $8 a month for the rest of time to pay for all of us going and pissing out our Miller Lite.
Can I say
for
that
1 month?
Because of 1 day a year.
Yeah, because of 1 day a year. Guess what, guys? Just most of them make a chunk of money off parking if they want to. You're fine. They're charging $20-$50 a park.
Set your parking money aside.
Ironically, though, it said that the two races.
2016 wasn't a problem. That was the biggest one ever.
Was the last normal race that they didn't.
I can't explain that one.
The limiter on
unless
it.
they just didn't monitor it correctly.
And that was the largest crowd.
They screwed up the sample.
It may be light beer.
I don't know.
They say it's just people. It's
maybe in 2016 it was so bad that people just pissed on themselves and they couldn't get into the bathrooms. So they just went right there on the ground.
It was also a pretty dang good race. So maybe just people weren't going to the bathrooms. Yeah,
it's more families to where there was less beer.
It's just going straight in diapers. Enrique Sanchez is the author of this. They did a great job. They even went to break down and said, hey, if you go in a porta-john, that gets trucked to the Indianapolis disposal facility. But if you go in the plumbing, if you go in the plumbing at the racetrack,
if you go in the trough,
you are polluting.
Are part of the problem.
Yep. So do everybody a favor, piss in a jug and throw it away. That's what that's what they'd like you to do.
Like the 100th running, or on yourself.
Or right on yourself.
Whatever you want.
That's what happens on Friday. This is why they don't have a problem on carb day.
I would like to say I'm helping my part of the problem. I take my own bathroom for most of the weekend, and then I take it home. I dump it in Spiceland. But
you don't just open it while you're rolling out the 7.
Who would notice?
Man, if I could rig up an electric pole for that, I could remote from my
full
truck.
Dave Matthews.
Yeah. You know what? I tell you what I dumped it. I dumped it next to that lady next to the walkway.
Zach's actuator. He's not back in lot 2 the next weekend. What does he care?
Or whoever cut Danny off yesterday, just get in front.
We have had so many near misses in our travels to and from the track.
Danny ended up right behind me coming home from the track yesterday, which I guess I was quick getting out to be in front of somebody with a car. He's like, yeah, I just got run off the road. But
he was in the suite with Clayton Anderson and some New York Islanders. Yeah. He was in no hurry to leave.
But yes, Jeremiah and I have each nearly been clipped by somebody acting like a total idiot on 70, which is the oddest thing about that is that we drive into the track about 15 minutes off my normal commute. And I don't experience any of this on my normal commute. But driving to work or driving to the track, we've had people just do crazy stuff. Like 90-mile-an-hour runs up the emergency lane.
Yeah. Multiple times.
Multiple
Both
times.
times. Both weekends I've towed in. I've watched somebody drive on the shoulder.
Every time we have gone to the track this month with our campers, we have watched somebody who actively wants to die while going to Indianapolis.
Also watched somebody towing a mini excavator through the construction site with one wheel on their trailer, which typically you want at least two wheels when you're going. So he had his flashers on, and he was just grinding all the way through the construction zone. One more news story for you guys. 69-year-old man from Carmel has been arrested for activities on pole day. He bought a fake badge and tried to enter the track with his fake badge. He did it for the Grand Prix weekend as well. Drove right past security, and they found his vehicle, impounded it, and escorted him off the premises the weekend before. It's a fake sheriff's badge.
Okay.
Was it a 6-star badge?
Says he's from Carmel, Forrest. I don't know what you could possibly be referencing.
They found him.
So they found him Grand Prix weekend. They had a description of the truck. It was a newer black Chevy Silverado with Ball State license plates. And he drove through a security gate without
Be better, Ball State grad.
So
So how
the same vehicle, I'll read the copy here for you. The same vehicle drove through the gate May 9th, 2026 during the Grand Prix, according to court documents. In that instance, guards blew their whistles at the man to stop, and he continued to accelerate after flashing the sheriff's badge.
Oh, so it's not just the fake badge part. He thinks the badge is a free entrance pass, and he's just being a dick
He's
with
trying
it.
to get in.
Okay.
The vehicle on that date was towed to a gate for the owner to come back for it at 4:45. The man was seen being escorted by an employee in a golf cart and pointing at the Chevy before the Speedway officer approached him. This happened yesterday. So he not only did he use the badge to get in, he then used the badge to get free golf cart rides. They caught him at the end of the day, and he said that he bought a fake badge online. It's a replica of a Marion County Sheriff's badge, and he also had 2 IMS ID cards. They don't say that if he was arrested previously or not, or they don't know if he had been a IMS employee, but he did have 2 IMS employee badges at one point.
Wow.
I think I see some community service in his future.
There's a lot of trash needs picked up, and if it's going to rain on that trash,
snake pit, porta pots, just wherever, bathrooms.
He can collect piss jugs.
He went through a gate meant for employees and delivery, so it wasn't a Gen Pop gate. He's been charged with criminal trespassing, theft, and impersonation of a public servant.
So there's a good probability that he was a Speedway employee at one time if he knew which gate to go through.
So the incident happened at 11:17 in the morning, and 3 hours later, he was in cuffs.
Got a free ride.
Hope he had a fun 3 hours. That's our story about crime at the track. Final thoughts, Presley? You've got you're still working on stuff. You're hoping to be an active race car driver later this summer?
I hope so. Fingers crossed. We'll see.
All right. If people want to support that, be a part of Sim to Reality, how do they do it?
Just go to PresleySorah.com. It's got all my contact info on there, everything about me, shirts, my children's book that I wrote, a little bit of everything. So everything's on PresleySorah.com.
All right. If you are interested in being a part of that, you've had some local sponsors that have gotten you on the track before.
Yes.
You had some folks that helped you run Daytona. You ran Daytona since we were here last. You were in the Daytona 500 weekend. You ran on Saturday of Daytona 500. A tire decided to quit functioning.
Yes.
And you spun out, didn't hit a damn thing. But you got the sponsor on TV.
Yeah, we got, honestly, I think it worked out because we got more TV time sliding sideways than we probably would have finished in like 10th or 15th. So
you were on Big Fox too.
Big Fox. Yeah. I think it brought in like 975,000 live viewers or something like that, or averaged that, which for ARCA is very, very good. But yeah, it was 28 laps to go. I don't know where we were running. We were still holding back. Our whole plan was about 20 laps to go, roll forward. And tire decided we weren't rolling forward. We were actually rolling to the pits. And I slid 185 mile an hour, half on the apron, half not. Then it hooked me back up towards the fence. And I wrestled the thing for a little bit and got it back down. And the only damage was from the apron transition. So all things considered, when you're spinning 185, We'll take that.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
If you've got a business, if you want to be involved, let's help this guy do some racing this summer.
Absolutely.
Ian, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I'm really excited about your first Indy 500 and the way you've embraced the IndyCar series this year.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I'm going into it with open mind. I have no idea what to expect. Obviously, I've listened to a handful of stories, and I now understand what I didn't understand whenever I was just casually watching it every single year. Because I still watch the race every year or listen to it, but now I'm embracing it. I'm in it.
Now you know who Will Power is. You know who Kyle Kirkwood is. You understand the stories, and like, it's not just, oh yeah, the cars are going around. You know who every damn car is.
Yep.
And that's where it clicks, where it's like, oh yeah, I get it now.
Yep.
You know, it's not just about that hour before the race is a big deal, but the next step is actually knowing, hey, this Kyle Collette kid is he might be special. I want to see it happen. I'm excited for him.
Me too.
Zach Burcham.
I can't wait. I'm like, the month's gone by too quickly.
It's the 18th and it's almost over.
Yeah. And I didn't normally get over for a practice day. I didn't go for a practice day. And today I did go over there, but it was a little rain shortened. And I was trying to get back to my car before that hit because I was just watching it arrive. So I hope the weather doesn't look that bad it doesn't turn out that bad for the race weekend, because I don't really want to be in the mud all weekend, but looking forward to it. And honestly, if the race got pushed back a little bit on Sunday, wouldn't hate it. The late evening run was one of the greatest 500s I've been to. So I wouldn't turn that down. But
you're going to screw your girl, Catherine. She's trying to do the double.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's going to rain in Charlotte, too. Charlotte's weather completely mirrors by the temperature and the day in Indianapolis all week. So if one's going, the other's going.
By the way, her car looks...
Oh, it's sharp.
It's phenomenal.
Great looking race car.
It looks like her Jay Penske
Dragon
car, the Dragon Speed car.
Yep.
Or Dragon Racing. Loose Code Dragon Racing.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was a great car.
Mike, thanks for being here.
I got a couple things.
All right.
First off, congratulations on a graduation this weekend.
Thank you.
Missing Blake not being here. He just got his MBA from Nevada and is no longer a Wolfpack coach and on his way home and will be at the race. But my really final take is for the last 70 years, Phyllis Grant, a local physician here, has been at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. She was on the pregame for Fox last year. Unfortunately, this last week, Phyllis fell and broke her hip. And I think she got a surgery over the weekend for an 100-year-old lady that went very, very well. And she's going to have to set this one out and watch it from the rehab facility. But I wish Phyllis well and let her know that she's going to be sorely missed.
She's there in spirit. I think that's another one of those where Doug can probably write an excuse note.
Yes.
Because she sure as hell would be there if she could.
Yeah.
Another local legend of the Speedway.
Absolutely.
And a lot of the old timers like to appreciate that. And it is not a surprise. I walked out of the track yesterday with somebody that had, this was my 66th Indianapolis 500 on his shirt. And the people next to him said, only you're 66? What the hell? I've been to 20 and I'm not anywhere close to these. They're not even in the same zip code.
Well, tomorrow is the old timers barbecue, which you get to see a lot of legends and a lot of people. And I'm one of the youngest ones there. But it's one of my highlights of the month. You'd always get to hear stories from Merle Bentonhausen, who unfortunately passed away a couple weeks ago. But it's a great time, and Jug's chicken
and apple butter.
Absolutely.
All these little things are just a part of the track mystique. There are so many layers to it. It's spectacular. The places, the food, the stuff, my sister's like, why the hell do you spend all of this time at the track? Because I missed a family birthday yesterday again.
Her fault.
And I tell people, I said, look, I won't go to your wedding. I won't go to your birthday. I won't go to your funeral in May. It's your fault if you have it.
I said the same thing, but I went to a graduation.
I mean, I feel bad. Like I got invited to open houses, and half of them I can't make it to because they're during the month of May. But I went to an open house in North Carolina on a Saturday when I was in my 20s, and was at the Indianapolis 500 the next day.
You're a regular Presley Sorah.
Yeah.
I did that a couple years ago. ARCA was in Charlotte, and I was there for ARCA.
I wasn't quite Charlotte distance. I was like an hour and a half from Charlotte, or like an hour and 15 minutes. But yeah, but then I found out while I was down there that my brother wasn't going to go to the race. Like, yeah, he doesn't feel like going, and so we got 2 tickets. I'm like, I'll be there, and I think we got home at like 3:30 and left at 5:30 for the race. So I was like, yeah, so I'll be there.
That's how it goes. Well, Mike, thank you for being here. Blake has missed. Blake has done every one of these race episodes with us, but we're very proud of him. You both, Mike and Forrest. This is a spectacular job of graduating your year 2. I'm going to be a new dad this year, and you're both a great example for what dads should be. You've both done a fantastic job, and you should both be very proud this month.
Thank you very much.
Forrest, final thoughts?
So this will be my 34th 500, and it'll probably go down as my most favorite. So talking about the whole graduation thing, my daughter's graduating from the United States Military Academy at West Point Saturday afternoon, where she'll be commissioned as a second lieutenant in the Army. And following graduation, everyone does a ceremonial commissioning in their Army dress uniform, where they take the oath as an officer, they render their first salute, et cetera, et cetera. And a lot of kids choose to do it at West Point following graduation. But Peyton's plebe year, so her freshman year when she was home for the race, she looked at me and said, Dad, I think it'd be pretty cool if I could do it at the race. So the wheels went in motion then, and a few emails later, we were starting to make plans, and Doug Bowles and his team have been very supportive. So 8 a.m. Sunday morning on the Art of Bricks, my daughter will be commissioned as a second lieutenant. So
if anybody's in, they can go sneak a peek and be a part of it.
Yep.
I hope to photograph it for him.
Yeah.
So
I'm so proud of you guys and excited. You've been talking about this for years, Forrest, and you've made it happen.
Yep. It's a collision of both of my worlds. Well, I guess multiple worlds.
2 of your worlds.
Yeah, 2 of them.
Proud to have this episode. This has become a staple of the Boss Hog of Liberty show. I'm excited to share this with all of you. Really looking forward to the race. Hope we get it on time, and it's a very safe race. In my day job in the road construction industry, we talk about safety every day, and we care about safety, and I want a safe race. When accidents happen, we learn from them. We make changes. We talked about this on your show, Ian. Having a driver miss a race due to injury, it happened a few years ago with Steph Wilson, and now potentially with Alexander Rossi. You hope for everybody's safety. And you want it to go well. It was an incredibly clean month until today. We hadn't had any contact. The open test was great.
Sato kissed the wall.
Yeah, Sato just barely touched the wall.
Every year.
Did no damage.
Yeah, I'm going to say that's just Sato being Sato.
He was just testing the limits of the track and found it. So having that incident today, that really sucks because it had been a perfectly clean month.
It would have been really cool to go into the 500 with the green track.
You want everybody to have their best stuff, and unfortunately, 4 teams are repairing race cars or rebuilding race cars going into the race. It's a part of the month of May, but you don't like to see that happen. So hoping for a very safe race. I want everybody to have a great time. Tune in on Fox if you can't come be one of the 1 in 1,000 that are there in person experiencing it. Watch the race, enjoy it. If you're in a place that allows a little betting, put something on somebody, and $10 can turn into $200, and you can have a great time. So with that, we will see you guys next week.